Classic hardcore World of Warcraft is a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. And this is coming from somebody who leveled a Tauren Shaman to level 12 and died, then leveled a Tauren Shaman to level 16 and died. And I have the urge to make another Tauren Shaman. And I'm like, what is happening to me? This is like the definition of insanity, right? Like, am I going insane? I can't even say insane. That's how insane I'm going. And so I was like, why am I having so much fun? And so I wrote down a few reasons why. And I kind of wanted to share those with everybody because that's what YouTube's really about, is just sharing your opinions on stuff. So let's talk about why I think classic WoW hardcore has been a lot of fun. So the first reason is classic WoW in itself is more about the journey and not the destination, right? Like classic WoW pretty much is always about the leveling experience. And obviously there is the end game, but in retail WoW, a lot of it is like, all right, I got to level real fast so that I can get to the end game and start playing the game. While classic WoW was pretty much this giant hero's journey you go on where you start as a nobody and you become somebody by the end of it. And then, you know, you get to do some raids and PvP and stuff like that at the end. But a lot of the time spent was really about the entire leveling process, right? And so I think that really fits this type of challenge well, because there's such a long span of time and you have to go to so many areas and so many zones and there's so many different challenges and things along the way that it really makes for an enticing hardcore experience. And when you die at a certain point, I get that feeling of like, well, now I want to get back to where I was. And I didn't think I was going to have that. And it just feels weird that I have that feeling. I don't know. But I also want to mention an add-on that I've been using, which is Deathlog. And that has really, I think, amplified a lot of the world's feeling, because every time someone dies that has the add-on, at least, you get notified. And so obviously there's been people that are like kind of glitching it out, where they're just like, a level 60 gnome shaman died in wherever, like Outlands. Like, people are doing that. But for the most part, there's actual deaths. And so it's kind of fun to be out in this world knowing like, dude, at any point I could die, and then seeing actual deaths occur like on the add-on, like right there, like, hey, right now somebody just died. It's like those statistics where like every 10 seconds somebody is dying in the world, right? I don't know, but it's like actually seeing that in real time, and you get to see like their last chat message. That's obviously a lot of fun if somebody's like, wow, I'm doing great, I'm not gonna die at all, and then they die at like level 31 or something. So I think the Deathlog add-on actually adds a lot in terms of like the fun that I have from playing the game, because it's a nice little side thing to look at and be like, whoa, that guy just died, right? And it makes you kind of focus in more, like, I don't want that to happen, like someone just died at my level. Also, speaking of add-ons, I'd like to take this time to talk about the channel sponsor, Zygor. If you want to check out Zygor, you can use my link in the description. You can check it out for free. It has a whole bunch of guides. I've been using the leveling guide to level in classic WoW hardcore, but it's got gold making guides for retail WoW, pet collecting, mount collecting guides. They got a whole bunch of stuff. You can check them out for free, and if you decide that you like it, you can use code Crendor for 20% off an elite subscription. So the next thing is more people at lower level areas makes the game a lot more crowded and active. So a lot of times when you play classic WoW or you play retail, like whatever, there's always going to be people at different points of their journey, right? Some people are level 5, some people are level 10, some people are level 20, right? And they're all over the world. But because of this challenge, so many people are dying and remaking their characters. So the first couple of zones you start in are just constantly engaged with players questing and trying to level up again, right? Like, even if somebody just died at level 40, they got to start over, and now they're back at like level 3, and you're like, oh, hey, there's a fellow person leveling. Like, you don't know if they just died or not, that you might be like, this is the first time they're leveling, right? So it's a much more crowded beginner experience because of that. And I think that adds that attribute, or not attribute, but that dimension to the game of, hey, a lot of people are playing this right now, right? I'm not the only one, right? If you're just the only one playing, it's just kind of like, okay, you know, whatever, it's just me. But because of that, it does seem a lot more crowded than I think it actually is, which I think is cool. Then I think another big thing, how I mentioned classic WoW is the journey, not the destination, right? Well, a long journey without everything, or without any errors, I would say, makes everything matter more. So anytime you, in, let's just say, classic retail, right? You would just get like potions, or you'd get a buff from somebody and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, whatever, right? It was nice. But now when you get potions and you get buffs and stuff, you're like, dude, this buff could literally prevent me dying. Right? Like every time a druid buffs you and a priest buffs you and a mage buffs you, or you get alchemy potions and like all this stuff, right? Like everything that you do is going to increase the percentage chance that you don't die. And that's the whole point, right? You're doing everything in your power to not die. And so when somebody walks past you and they buff you, you're like, dude, thank you very much. This is actually impactful. Like I might get down to 10 HP, but I had the stamina buff. So clearly that pre-stamina buff saved my life right here, right? Like I think that's awesome. And it makes every little detail just matter that much more. And I think because of that, it also encourages people to work together. Like for grouping and buffing and helping with quests and stuff, it actually is encouraging players to work together, which was something that people already enjoyed about Classic WoW, was you had to work together more than you typically would in retail WoW. But now it's even amplified more, right? Because if you go into a group in a dungeon, you're like, this group better be good. Because this group that you're forming is literally life or death, which I think is just crazy, right? And even for questing, because like I was doing the shaman. I was doing the water totem quest, right? And you have to go in that dumb cave with the cultists. And I was like, this cave it's a death trap. I already knew it was. They spawn on top of you. It's crazy. And I was about to die one time, and this druid came in there and he like healed me and he helped me fight off one. I was like, oh my God, you saved my life. Like literally, I would have died. He was just like, hey, no problem. And it was just like that fun little interaction. You're like, that was awesome, right? So the fact that you can actually save someone's life in the game is just crazy, because again, the stakes are all the way up there. If you die, you're dead. And so I think all those things together have really added just another layer to the enjoyment I've had with leveling in Classic World of Warcraft. Because I'm a person that already enjoys the leveling in Classic, even though it's slower. It's grindier. It feels more like an old school RPG, but I kind of like that, right? And I enjoy having that versus like retail, where it's a lot more of like a collectathon, action RPG, whatever. But it's nice having both and being able to go between both. And now having hardcore be an option added into that has really just made it that much more fun. So I've just enjoyed it a lot. And then going forward, I would say, I think one thing that'd be cool if they added it is kind of like a Diablo style hardcore elite type of thing. Maybe a different server for hardcore elite, where maybe you have like mobs that start shooting off fireballs, and you have mobs that like are harder to kill with more health. Some mobs just hit harder, right? I think that'd be cool, where like you have the elite Diablo style mobs just scattered throughout the world. And just adding another challenge on top of that. I think that's something they could probably do going forward, that I don't know how hard it would be to add in, but I can't imagine it'd be crazy, right? You don't have to go wild with it. It's just like that mob hits harder, it has more health, like, and just whatever. But overall, I just wanted to make this video talking about that. And let me know how you've been enjoying Classic Hardcore WoW down in the comments section below. And yeah, thank you for listening to me rant. Thank you again to the sponsor of the channel, Zygor. You can use code Crendor for 20% off and use the link in the description if you want to check them out. Also, if you want to check out some other videos, we got pointless top 10 bald NPCs I just made. You go check that one out. And then here's another video of me ranting about stuff. I think this one will be player housing. You go watch me talk about player housing. Okay? Okay. See ya.